Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. Some people take a loss with grace. Others set fire to the playing field and then ask why you don't stay for the encore. Today in the rLounge, losing with dignity just isn't an option. Up first, no good deed goes unpunished. Am I the a-hole for ditching my girlfriend at a restaurant, which contributed to her failing her probationary period at work? I, 27 male, have been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Cindy, 26 female, since university. Last September, Cindy's company went under. She took this hard because she loved her workplace, loved her colleagues, and loved her boss. Unfortunately, they just weren't making that much money, so the plug was pulled. When Cindy came home and delivered the news to me, I asked if she wanted me to introduce her to my boss. Having the same major, we work in the same field, and my company is almost always hiring. Cindy said yes, and I texted my boss on the spot. After delivering her CV to him and a short interview process, she was hired in a 3-month probationary position. I was really excited to be working with Cindy. We could save money on gas by carpooling, spend more time together, and have lunch together too. Unfortunately, things didn't pan out. To be frank, Cindy was a horrible employee. She showed up at the office 15 to 20 minutes late virtually every day. I had to give up on carpooling with her because I have a morning meeting and I need to get to work 15 minutes early every day. Cindy's favorite activity at work was opening up a blank Google Doc and looking at her phone under her desk. The hour we get for lunch was often an hour and a half for Cindy, and she really accomplished nothing in her time there. This continued for 3 months. Last Monday was a rare occasion where Cindy was actually ready on time to go to work together. Perhaps this was because of my gentle urging for her to get her crap together, or perhaps it was because her probationary period was ending soon, but we were able to carpool. We went out to lunch together, and Cindy ate way too slowly. I was looking at the clock and encouraging her to get a move on. But at the end of the meal, right when we had to leave to make it back on time, Cindy decided she wanted another refill of her soda. I told her time was up, but she was adamant that she absolutely needed another refill. To make matters worse, the restaurant was crowded and we couldn't flag down a server. I put the cash for the meal and a tip on the table, and I told Cindy that I was leaving, with or without her. Cindy played chicken with me here, thinking that if she refused to move, I'd have no choice but to wait. But I walked to my car and drove back. Cindy showed up 20 minutes later, visually flustered. The restaurant was a 10-minute walk away, so I'm pretty sure she did end up getting her refill. She had been furious with me since. Last Friday, Cindy got her final judgment for her probationary period. Due to poor punctuality and general lack of direction, my company decided not to hire her for a full-time position. Cindy blames me. She says I always made her late, and that I ruined everything. Last night, she asked me how she was supposed to pay her part of the rent without a job, and I responded, "Yes, that's a good question. How will you be paying?" This threw oil on the proverbial fire, and now she doesn't even want to fight about it anymore. Was I an a-hole for what I did here? Am I the a-hole has no consensus spot, but OP was not the a-hole. Let's confirm this with some relevant comments from the community. First up, if she seriously believes she wasn't hired because of that particular day and not all of the other ones, she's delusional AF. You even tried helping her to be punctual, but she didn't give AF. Not the a-hole, not your responsibility at all. Next comment says, this is going to sound crazy, but that may have been the point. She may have been intentionally dense about getting back from lunch on time, knowing that OP would leave without her. He's already set the precedent that he won't be late to work without her in the morning carpools. And then using that to blame him for failing instead of herself. With how she acted at work, she might still actually be self-aware enough to realize she wasn't going to be kept on. So this could have been a plan to guilt OP into not pushing her too hard about the rent. It sounds like they live together. I know that seems a bit nuts. I've just known some really manipulative people that I could see doing exactly that scenario. The OP replies, I didn't even recognize this as a possibility at the time, but it actually sounds likely now that you say it. I honestly don't understand how any reasonable person would expect to pass the probationary period to a job after being chronically late and screwing around on Instagram all day at work. The next person says, guess you found out why that company went under, not the a-hole. The OP replies, yeah, honestly, I kind of understand now why she loved her old company so much. I probably should have seen the signs earlier too. Despite both of us starting work at 9 and her old company being farther away than mine, I cannot recall a single day that she left after me. Even one time when I was running very late due to stomach issues, I distinctly recall leaving at 9:05 with Cindy still doing her makeup. One more comment says, "Good grief. They didn't just let her go because she was late for lunch once. Good for you for not risking your job to play stupid games. Not the a-hole." You did everything you could to help her, from getting her the job in the first place to encouraging her to be on time. She had every opportunity to turn things around, and she didn't. Now she wants to blame you because taking responsibility would mean admitting she failed. At the end of the day, she lost the job because of her own actions. You're not the a-hole, OP. Update, March 3rd, 2025, 1 week later. Last week, I, 27 male, talked about how my girlfriend, Cindy, 26 female, blew her probationary period for the job I got her completely. She was chronically late, unproductive, and she took 90-minute marathon lunch breaks. She claims that I sabotaged her because instead of being late when getting back to work, I left her at a restaurant when she wanted another refill of her soda. Anyway, Cindy decided that she was going to take some time off of work for her mental health. Knowing that she had absolutely no savings, I asked her how she was going to contribute to rent, groceries, and utilities, but Cindy said that wasn't my concern. I decided to be upfront and flat out told her not to expect me to financially support her. She responded by calling me a low provider, whatever that means. It's also not right because I'm more of a no provider. I'm not into arrangements where I financially support a woman for companionship. At this point, I knew that our relationship was basically over, but I decided that I'd stay in the apartment we rent for the next 2 months, as we have paid our rent in full until the end of May, and then leave. Then Cindy began taking steps to actively sabotage me at work. For example, last Friday when I was getting ready for work, I couldn't find my shoes. After letting me look for them for 15 minutes, Cindy finally said that she washed them. I'm fairly sure Cindy has never washed anything other than a plate or her own laundry, but on Friday morning, she abruptly decided to wash my shoes. Right. They were soaking wet. I had to wear an old pair of Crocs that were 2 sizes too small into the office that day. On my way home, I bought new shoes and kept them in my car. Then, Cindy began spamming me with texts during a meeting on Saturday, one I had told her I was having, saying there was a guy banging on our door. She insisted I needed to come home right away. I checked our Ring camera and saw nothing. When I texted her back saying so, she said it must have been the neighbor or something. It's worth mentioning here that I can see the neighbor's door on the camera too, and nobody was banging on it either. I got the picture of what was going on and realized the next escalation would be having my tires slashed or brakes cut after work that day. I went back to our apartment, gathered my belongings, and left. Cindy naturally went off the rails, but I got out safely. Now I'm at my buddy's house for a few days until I can find a new living situation. Thank you all for the advice you gave me. I'm sure this can act as a cautionary tale in various ways. Unfortunately, I'm kind of out of it after all this drama, so I'll leave that part up to you. Let's go back to the community for some more relevant comments. First one. Thank you for the update and good luck during this transition. If you haven't said anything to your boss, you might want to update him or her just in case she continues to try to sabotage your work. Next person says, and the landlord. OP doesn't want to be on the hook for damages Cindy does over the next couple of months. Next piece of advice. This should be higher. OP should go back with a witness, take a video of the condition of the apartment, then inform the landlord that he has moved out. That way, if she does any damage, he has some proof that it wasn't him. But either way, he can probably kiss any security deposit goodbye. The OP replies, thanks, but way ahead of you. Already confirmed the condition of the apartment and told the landlord I was no longer going to be living there. One more comment. My guess, with all the scrolling she did on her phone under her desk instead of actually working, she stumbled upon Trad Wife TikTok, and she was banking on a free ride despite her sounding like she does none of the housework the Trad Wife trend implies, thinking she can just get a free ride. If you can, next time you're at the apartment, try and take as many pictures of the place as you can without her knowledge. I would not put it past her to try and flip the script and say you trashed the place in anger at her or something and F you out of the deposit. It's a good thing that she saw the writing on the wall early and got out before she could escalate things further. Women like Cindy don't get less unhinged when they realize they've lost control. They double down. Slashed tires, fake police reports, mystery pregnancy claims. Wouldn't put anything past her at this point. Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. Up next, efforts tossed like last week's leftovers. Am I the a-hole for ordering only me and my daughter food after my girlfriend threw away my cooking? Last night, I decided to make my girlfriend dinner. I'm not a good cook at all. I kinda suck. But I spent a while trying to make everything nice. The ingredients were kind of expensive. The actual cooking and baking of everything took almost the whole day. But by the time my girlfriend came home from work, everything was prepared. When she saw the table set and stuff, she was pleasantly surprised, and after she changed, she sat down right away. When she first took a bite of the food, however, she had this bad look on her face. I asked her what was wrong, and she said it was too salty. I said sorry, but she continued to eat still. The more she ate, though, the more she started making worse and worse faces. I told her she didn't need to eat anymore, but she insisted she did. But after she said that and took one more bite, she spit it out onto the plate. I asked if she was okay, and she said she was fine, but that the food was terrible. She then proceeded to grab her plate and throw it in the trash. But then she also threw out the entire dish as well, so there wasn't any more food for anyone. I told her that I was still going to eat it, but she said that she could make something better. When I said that she still wasted the food, we got into an argument about everything. It ended with her saying that she would be able to get herself something better. My girlfriend then said she was going to go out for a bit, and for me to watch our kid. Given that time, I decided to just order food for the two of us. It was fast food, but I was hungry, and our daughter hadn't gotten the chance to eat something yet. I didn't order much, but again, it was just so I could be full. The food arrived, and when I was cutting up the food so our baby could eat it, my girlfriend returned. When she saw that I had ordered food, she was pissed. She asked where her food was, but I told her she never asked, and that I thought she went out to go out. She told me that I should have still gotten her food, or called her telling her I was ordering. We got into another argument until she left the house again, this time to go with her friend to go out and eat. Since then, we haven't talked much. It's like that often now, between me and my girlfriend. But this time, I just feel so, frustrated. She didn't say, but was my cooking that bad? If it was, she didn't need to just toss it all out. However, I regret not ordering my girlfriend food, and it just made the whole situation worse. If I did, we would probably be on better terms right now. Let's see what the community thinks. I don't know how bad your cooking was, but she could have at least asked you if you wanted it before tossing the whole dish. She didn't seem to care if you had food, so you are not the a-hole for not caring if she did at that point. I'm curious how bad it was, though. Did you taste it? Edit. A misguided autocorrect. The OP replies, I think it tasted okay. It was some Mongolian beef recipe my friend gave me, and I liked. However, my standards are pretty low to say the least, so it could have been that bad to where my girlfriend felt the need to throw it. But I do agree my girlfriend should have told me before doing so, though. I'd think she saw me enjoying it a lot. Well, most people would just push the food around on their plate, maybe feed it to the dog when you're not looking. But no, she attempted to make a statement. Block her everywhere, keep records of everything, and thank your past self for having the self-respect to run. What would you do? And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. And please put your chair back where you found it.